Good morning students. This is class 11th maths, chapter 3rd, lecture 2nd, and today first of all we will discuss the solutions of exercise 3.1. So certain angles in degrees are given and we have to find their radian measure. So question first, second part is minus 47 degree 30 minutes. So solution for this will be minus 47 degree and changing this minute into degrees by dividing 30 with 60. So 30 upon 60 degree, which is equal to minus 47 into 1 upon 2 degree, which is equal to, when you will solve this, minus 95 by 2 degree. So the radian measure is, first of all, because this is given in degree and minutes, so we have converted this into degrees. Now we will change it into radian measure. So to change into radian measure, we have to multiply it with pi by 180. So the answer will be minus 19 pi by 72 radians. Clear? Now the fourth part is 520 degree. So radian measure will be, because it is already in degrees, so multiply it with pi by 180, which is equal to 26 pi by 9 radians, right? Now in question number second, we have to change this angle from radians into the degree measures. So degree measure, to change in degree measure, we will multiply with 180 by pi. So minus 4 radian. When changes into degree measure, multiply it with 180 by pi. In place of pi, write 22 by 7. So this will become minus 2520 upon 11. When you will divide this by 11, it will go on 229 with the remainder 1. So we can write it as minus 229 1 upon 11 degree, which is equal to minus 229 degree. Now this 1 by 11, changing it into minutes by multiplying with 60. Now this will be minus 229 degree 5 minute. When you will divide 60 by 5 minutes complete, and you will get 5 by 11 into 60, because changing this 5 by 11 minute into seconds. So you will get this approximately. Now question number third. So in this question it is given that a wheel makes 360 revolutions in 1 minute. We have to find through how many radians does it turn in 1 second. So first of all, we will find how many revolutions the wheel makes in 1 second. Now because 1 minute is 60 seconds, so for 1 second the revolutions will be 360 upon 60, that is 6, right? Now 1 revolution means 2 pi radians, right? So in 1 second, if wheel makes 6 revolutions, that is in 1 second wheel turns by 12 pi radians, because 1 revolution means 2 pi radians, then 6 revolution means 12 pi radians. Now question number 4, find the degree measure of the angle. We have to find this degree measure of this angle subtended at the center of the circle by radius 100 centimeter and length of the arc is 22. So L and R is given. We will find theta. Theta is equal to L by R. So we will get theta as 11 by 50, but in radians. We have to find it degree measure. So multiply it with 180 by pi. Instead of pi, write 22 by 7. When you will solve it, the answer will be 12 degree into 36 minutes. Clear? Now question number 5th. Now in question number 5th, diameter of the circle is given as 40. So radius will be 20. And the chord AB is given as 20, which has length 20. Now they have asked to find the arc length of the minor arc. So see, this is the chord AB. This arc AB, this arc AB is the minor arc. So we have to find the value of this arc. Now because radius is 20, so OA, OB also is 20. So this is an angle AOB is an equilateral triangle and therefore each angle is of 60 degree. So we can say this minor arc makes an angle of 60 degree at the center, right? So now we know r, radius and theta. So find the arc length, which is theta into r. So theta is 60, which is pi by 3 into 20. Why we have taken pi by 3? Because in this formula we always use theta in radians, right? So the arc length will be 20 pi by 3. Clear? Now question number 7th. Find the angle in radians through which a pendulum swings if its length is 75 centimeter. See, if this is the pendulum, length of the pendulum is 75 centimeter and the tip describes an arc of length 10 centimeter. When this pendulum moves, this tip describes an arc of length 10 centimeter. We have to find the angle in radian. So if this is r, as this is 75, this will also be 75, right? This will not change because it is the length of the pendulum. So this is our radius, this is the length. So theta will be L by R, that is 10 by 75, which is 2 by 15 radians, right? So today we will study about trigonometric functions. So consider a unit circle with center at origin of coordinate axis. This is our coordinate axis and we have drawn this unit circle, right, whose center is origin. Let PAB be any point on the circle with angle AOP is equal to x radian. Now let this P be any point on this circle. It can be any point. I have taken it here. P be the point AB on the circle and this angle AOP, that is this angle, let this angle be as x radians, right? Therefore length will be, see, this is the radius of the circle and it is a unit circle, therefore this will be 1. This is our theta, which is x radian. So this length of arc AP will be x because r is equal to, theta is equal to L upon r. R is given, theta is given. So when you will calculate it, you will get L as x. So length of the arc AP is x. Now cos x, as we know, is base upon hypotenuse. So you can check in this triangle OMP, right angle triangle, cos x will be base, which is a, upon hypotenuse, which is 1. So cos x you will get as a and sin x will be p by h, perpendicular upon hypotenuse. So perpendicular is b, hypotenuse is 1. So you will get sin x as b. Also triangle OMP is a right triangle. Therefore by Pythagoras theorem we can see this OM square plus PM square is equal to 1, right? That is a square plus b square is equal to 1. Now a is what? Cos x, b is sin x. So we get this cos square x plus sin square x equal to 1. And you have to learn this result, right? Now angle AOB. See, this complete angle is 360 degree. So the 1/4 part, that is this angle AOB, this angle will be 90. Similarly this angle, angle AOC, that is this angle, is 180. Angle AOD, which is this angle, this will be 270, right? So in radians we can write it as angle AOB is pi by 2. Angle AOC 180, which is equal to pi. Angle AOD is 270 and in radians we can say it is 3 pi by 2. And this complete angle, if we talk about AOA, that is complete revolution starting from here to this. This is the angle 2 pi, right? These angles are now integral multiples of pi by 2. This is pi by 2 into 1. This is pi by 2 into 2. This is pi by 2 into 3. So those angles which are integral multiples of pi by 2 are called quadrantal angles. Now suppose if point P is equal to A. So you can see from this diagram, if point P is A, then A will be 1, B will become 0, and the angle X, P will come here at A. So there will be no rotation and X will become 0 degree. So if point P is A, then A will be 1, B is 0 and X is 0 degree. As we have just seen that cos X is A and sin X is B. So cos X, that is 0 degree, will be A. A is 1 and sin 0 degree is B and B is 0. So at 0 degree cos is 1 and sin is 0. Similarly, if point P becomes B, so see from this figure now, if point P becomes B, so the angle X will be now this complete angle which is pi by 2, that is 90. A point will become 0 and B will become 1, right? So when point P is equal to B, A is 0, B is 1 and X is 90 degree, or we can say pi by 2 radian. So cos pi by 2 is equal to A is 0. So cos pi by 2 will be 0. Sin pi by 2 will be 1 because B is 1. Clear? Similarly, you can find out for pi 3 pi by 2 also that cos pi is minus 1, sin pi is 0, and when point P, when this point P will become the point D, then you will check that cos 3 pi by 2, that is cos 270, will be 0 and sin 3 pi by 2 will be minus 1, cos 2 pi will be 1 and sin 2 pi will be 0. So after one complete revolution from the point P, we come back to the same point P. See if this is the point P. So after one complete revolution, you will come back to the same point P, which gives us this result. Thus, if X increases or decreases from any integral multiple of 2 pi, because one revolution is of 2 pi radians. So if X increases or decreases with an integral multiple of 2 pi, then the value of sine and cosine functions do not change, right? Therefore, we got this sine 2n pi plus x is equal to sine x, where n belongs to the integers. That is, if we add with an integral multiple of 2 pi in x, or if we subtract, that is, if we increase or decrease with the integral multiple of 2 pi, then the value of sine and cos does not changes. This remains sine x only and this remains cos x. Clear? Because we have just calculated that sine 0 degree is 0, sine pi is also 0. So first of all, adding or increasing this 0 with the integral multiples of 2 pi. So 2 pi plus 0 will be 2 pi only. So sine 2 pi is also 0. Sine 4 pi is also 0. If we decrease this with an integral multiple of 2 pi, so sine minus 2 pi is also 0. Similarly, sine pi is 0, therefore sine 3 pi is 0, sine 5 pi is 0, sine minus 3 pi is 0, right? Because we have increased pi with 2 pi. So pi plus 2 pi is 3 pi. So we can say that when sine x is 0, if x is 0, plus minus pi, plus minus 2 pi, plus minus 3 pi and so on. So we can say sin x is 0 when x is an integral multiple of pi. Therefore, if sin x is 0, we can say x is equal to n pi for n belongs to integers, right? Now, similarly, you can see that cos pi by 2 is 0. Cos 270 we have also calculated it is 0. So cos x is 0 whenever x is an integral odd multiple of pi by 2. Odd multiple. First pi by 2, then 3 pi by 2, then 5 pi by 2. That is integral odd multiple of pi by 2. If x is integral odd multiple of pi by 2, then cos x is 0. Now we will define some other trigonometric functions. So cosecant x is equal to 1 upon sin x, x not equal to n pi. Why? Because sin x is 0 at x equal to n pi. Therefore, x should not be equal to n pi for cosecant x. Now secant x is 1 upon cos x and x should not be equal to odd multiple of pi by 2. Tan x we define as sin x upon cos x, and because cos x is in the denominator, so x should not be equal to odd multiple of pi by 2. And cot x is reciprocal of tan x, that is cos x upon sin x, and x should not be equal to n pi because sin x is in the denominator. And all this is this what we have defined here. N belongs to the set of integers. Clear? So these are our other trigonometric functions. Now for all real x, you have studied that sin square x plus cos square x is equal to 1. If we divide both the sides with cos square x, then you will get sin square x upon cos square x, which will be tan square x, plus 1 equal to 1 upon cos square x, which will be secant square x. Let this be as 2. You have to learn this also. Now again dividing the 1 with sin square x. So this will be 1 plus cot square x equal to 1 upon sin square x will be cosecant square x. So you have to learn all these three identities to solve the questions. Clear? Now we will discuss sign of trigonometric functions in different quadrants. In different quadrants, different trigonometric functions are positive and different trigonometric functions are negative. So we will study about that. Let P be any point on the unit circle with center at origin. So center is at the origin, this is the unit circle, and P is any point AB on this circle, right? Angle AOP is X and we have taken angle AOQ in the clockwise direction. Therefore, angle AOQ will be minus X. Clear? Now cos x will be A and sin x is B. Now see this cos of minus x, because this we have taken in the anti-clockwise direction, so it will be minus x. Now cos of minus x will be, you can see, base upon hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is 1 because this is 1 and base is, this distance is A. So cos of minus x will be A and sin of minus x will be P by H. H is 1, hypotenuse is 1, perpendicular distance is B, but this point is minus B, right? Because this is in the negative of y-axis. So sin of minus x is minus B. So we can say from this cos of minus x, because these two are equal. So cos of minus x is equal to cos of x. But sin of minus x is equal to minus of sin x, right? So we got this, cos of minus x is cos x and sin of minus x is minus sin x. Now see, in the first quadrant, A and B both are positive because cos x is A, sin x is B. In first quadrant, A and B both are positive, therefore cos and sin are also positive. In second quadrant, that is from pi by 2 to pi, cos of x is A and A will be negative in second quadrant, and sin x is B and B will be positive. So in second quadrant, cos x is negative, sin x is positive. In third quadrant, from pi to 3 pi by 2, A and B both are negative, therefore cos x and sin x both will be negative. In the fourth quadrant, from 3 pi by 2 to 2 pi, cos x, which is equal to a, is positive, and sin x, which is equal to b, will be negative. Clear? So this is, you can summarize for the all trigonometric functions for the first quadrant, second, third and fourth, that in the first quadrant sine and cos are positive. So sine by cos, that is 10, is also positive. Cosecant is reciprocal of sine, will be positive. Secant will also be positive. Cot will also be positive, right? In second quadrant, sine and cosecant are only positive. Other angles are negative. In third quadrant, tangent and cot are only the positive trigonometric functions. And in fourth quadrant, cos and secant are the only positive trigonometric functions. So you can learn this: add sugar to coffee. So this first letter A means that in first quadrant all trigonometric functions are positive. This S means that sine and cosecant are positive in second quadrant. All other trigonometric functions are negative in second quadrant. Now this is third quadrant, and in this T, that is tangent, and reciprocal of tangent, that is cot, these two trigonometric functions are positive in third quadrant. And in fourth, starting from C, so cos and secant are positive in fourth quadrant. Clear? Now see how to solve the questions. Find the values of other 5 trigonometric functions if cos x is equal to minus 3 by 5, x lies in third quadrant. Now in third quadrant only tan and cot will be positive. So we will take the values of tan and cot as positive, other values are negative. So cos x is minus 3 by 5. Also we know this result that cos square x plus sin square x is 1. So sin x will be plus minus root 1 minus cos square x. Putting this value of cos x minus 3 by 5 here, squaring it, so 9 by 25. Now you will get the result as plus minus 4 by 5. But sin x, because x lies in third quadrant, so sin x will be negative. So we will just take sin x as minus 4 by 5. You can write here in reason that x lies in third quadrant, right? Now we know the value of sin x and cos x. So we will find tan x. Tan x is sin x upon cos x. So minus 4 by 5 upon minus 3 by 5, you will get tan x as 4 by 3. And you can see this, that you got tan x positive, which you will definitely get because x lies in third quadrant. Now we can find the other as secant x is reciprocal of cos x, that is minus 5 by 3. Cosecant x will be minus 5 by 4, and cot x will be reciprocal of tan x, that is 3 by 4. So we got the values of all other trigonometric functions just by cos x minus 3 by 5, right? Similarly, second is cot x is equal to minus 5 by 12, x lies in second quadrant. So cot x will give in negative, and it will be negative because it lies in second quadrant, right? So tan x will be the reciprocal of cot x, so it will be minus 12 by 5. Now because we know these two values, now by using this result that 1 plus tan square x is equal to secant square x, you will get the value of secant x as plus minus 13 by 5. But since it is given that x lies in second quadrant, secant x will be negative because in second quadrant sine and cosecant are positive only. So secant x will be minus 13 by 5. Now from secant you will get cos. So cos x will be minus 5 by 13, reciprocal of secant x. Now sin x will be tan x into cos x. We know the value of tan x is this, cos x is this, multiply them. Sin x will be 12 by 13 and cosecant x will be reciprocal of sin x, which is 13 by 12. So you can see, because x lies in second quadrant, so we got the values positive as of sin x and cosecant x. Clear? So the next question is, find the value of sine 31 pi by 3. To find this value, we will use this result that sine 2n pi plus x is sin x. That is, if we add in this x any multiple of 2 pi, then the answer will be same, sin x. So writing this 31 pi by 3 as 30 pi plus pi by 3, which is 10 pi plus pi by 3. So this sine 31 pi by 3 will be sine 10 pi plus pi by 3. And because of this result, this will be equal to, because this is a multiple of 2 pi only, right? So this will be equal to sine pi by 3. And sine pi by 3 is sine 60, which is root 3 by 2. Clear? Now, next is cos minus 1710. So, since we know cos of minus x is cos x, so cos of 1710 with a negative sign will be equal to cos of this. Now, because we want to write in some multiple of 360 plus the remainder, so therefore dividing this with the 360, so you will get 4 and the remainder will be 270. So we can write this as cos 360 into 4 plus 270, which is cos 270, because now this is a multiple of 2 pi. So cos of multiple of 2 pi plus x will be nothing but cos x, and cos 270 is 0. Next is tan 25 pi by 6. So we have to break it such that we get here the multiple of 2 pi, right? So it can be written as tan 4 pi plus pi by 6, which is now 10 pi by 6, and the value of this will be 1 by root 3, because pi by 6 is 30, which is tan 30 is 1 by root 3. So your today's homework is that you have to complete exercise 3.2. Okay, thank you.